you're doing?
I'm doing fine.
Good. Did you get that?
Hey, everybody! Whoa! Yeah! Hey, welcome to the news and updates. I am Rel.
Oh, and I'm Donna. Holy cow. It took me a long time to get into position today. Hi, I'm Donna, the other host here at News and Updates. Mark, the dazzling producer, world builder, filmer, and plain genius behind the weekly Altspace VR news show, is behind the camera bot live streaming to everyone out in the metaverse and beyond. We may I don't have anything on today. Well, I have a few things, but not the megaphone. Yes, everybody said he even knows about the megaphone. Hang on, I'll get all ready about my Okay.
You want to reintroduce yourself? Go for it.
Like I said. Oh my goodness me. Should I do that? Could anybody hear me? Give me yes. Yes.
No, they're shaking their heads. Start over.
Okay. You start over.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's really do this right.
Let's get this out of the way and the rest of the show can be problem-free. Yeah, we can just
Woo! All right. So, welcome to this week's news and updates from our
And I'm Donna, the other host here at News and Updates. Mark, the dazzling producer, world builder, filmer, and plain genius behind this weekly Altspace VR news show, is behind the camera bot, live streaming to everyone out in the metaverse and beyond. We are here to share the Altspace news. And oh my gosh, how many things happen in a week, right? It's crazy. So we may live in an alternate reality. This is like, have we ever really lived in the Twilight Zone before? We've talked about it, but I don't think we ever actually have. We have descended into the Twilight Zone, people. But even in virtual reality, we cannot escape the outside world, right?
Or a garbled internet connection. Oh, Donna. All right. I will be here when you get back. All right. 2020 is proving to be a historical year. From terrible bushfires in January that destroyed homes, lives, and wildfire in a state of emergency in Australia, the impeachment of a U.S. president, and then in February, this little virus we now know as COVID-19 spread across the globe, turning March into a month of self-isolation. The earth literally took a breath, and so did the rest of us, as pollution levels dropped globally as industries shut down through April and May. May found us both struggling and thriving with self-isolation in a variety of ways, with many learning how to cook. How many of you, come on, learned how to cook? You gardened, you sewed, making masks, and you explored your creative self. And of course, others struggled to cope with job loss and illness. But, it was kind of a joy. We got to spend more time in Altspace VR and in VR in general. Now, at the end of May, last week was the end of May. Unbelievable. Brought us great hope as more and more communities are opening up and people are stepping outside again, along with that incredible launch of the SpaceX mission to the International Space Station. That was amazing.
In the past few days, a record-breaking tropical depression is churning up to be a potential serious hurricane in the Gulf Coast of Mexico and the United States. The beaches of Normandy are empty for the 76th anniversary celebration of D-Day due to the coronavirus. The world watched in shock the killing of George Floyd by the policeman in the United States. and the streets erupt globally in protest as Chinese citizens quietly gather against their government orders to honor the victims of Tiananmen Square. We've been through much history in our lifetime so far, but the past 6 months, wow, aren't we glad we have a place like Allspace VR to come and talk to each other, to not feel alone physically or psychologically. We get it. We know we aren't alone. We have each other, and what an amazing community it is.
Seriously, honestly, without COVID, we might not remember this year. But now we are listening to ourselves, to each other. Everything feels different, doesn't it? So thanks to everyone who takes that extra moment to visit with each other, to socialize, to reassure each other that we'll get through this. And you share your thoughts and you listen to others with compassion as we all cope with all of these changes around us. Our AltSpace community is a beautiful thing. We are so grateful for it. Please take a moment this week to check in with a friend you haven't heard from in a while and see how they're doing, whether they're here or they're in the real world. Listen to their stories, their thoughts, their feelings, and share your own. We walk this virtual road together, so thank you, everyone. So now, let's get on with some AltSpace VR news.
Now, the AltSpace VR update this week brought us some minor but interesting improvements. Joy for those of us who are already familiar with AltSpace VR or onboarding someone to an event and wish to skip the new user tutorial, there is now an option to do so. Yay, this is so awesome. Hey, it's fun to toss a rocket around and throw some basketballs, but after the 100th time, so thanks AltSpace VR for helping some of us bypass the tutorial.
Now, there is a warning for when you enter mature content spaces. Now, the staff assigns this warning to worlds and events that meet the mature content requirement, but your feedback through the world and event reporting tool also helps them. So if you spot it, report it. You know how that goes? This has been so needed for so long, allowing world builders and event hosts to designate an age restriction that comes with a warning. It doesn't stop someone underage or sensitive to mature content from entering, but it gives them an option to step back. Kudos. That's wonderful.
Now, the text instructions and labels on the sign-up registration screen have been updated to be clearer and helpful. This should speed up the process of registration for new members.
Yeah, love the work on the UI. All right, now for PC users using 2D, we are thrilled that improvements keep coming. They ignored it for a long time. So yay for 2D users. The mute idle is one of the most important features for 2D users, especially with those who present and teach in AltSpace. If you move your cursor away from the AltSpace window to change slides or check email or Discord or whatever, it automatically mutes you. This is so frustrating. So you can fix that by going to Settings Audio and disable it. So the wording has been changed to be more specific, and I love this. It's changed from mute when idle to mute when AltSpace VR is idle, which isn't very helpful, as it really means when I'm off the window and I click on other windows, my audio will still work in AltSpace. That's what it should say. So put that one in the feedback suggestion box for clarity.
Oh, that's funny. An amusing but helpful improvement to the emojis for 2D users also arrived this week with a bit of a backfire. Let's see if we can explain this one. Now, when you click an emoji, you will see tiny versions of the emoji in front of you, indicating emojis are exploding out of your head where you can't see them, but others can. So try it. Try it with hearts. Now, if you position this on someone's avatar, it may look like the person is farting hearts or claps, which is very amusing. But you're the only one who sees it. So people may ask you what you're laughing about. They've also added this effect to the keyboard numbers, and this is where we find a bug.
Yeah, I hope this makes sense. So when you use the numbers 1 through 6 to trigger the emojis in 2D, the interface now takes the emoji circle away completely. You can see this up on the screen over our heads. And you're left with just one emoji where the circle wheel should be, and you cannot get the emoji wheel back unless you exit Alt Space VR and return. So many of us who spend too much time in 2D would like to see the wheel return, as it limits us to numbers only, and the numbers just seriously are not intuitive. It should go on most popular down or somehow follow the wheel. And so we want that option to bring it back. So if this matters to you, or you have any other comments about the new features and the changes they're making, make sure you let AltSpace know on the AltSpace VR Discord in feedback and feature request channels.
Okay, now just a never-ending fun and games here in AltSpace VR. As with all things news and updates from AltSpace VR, we report on these in our News and Updates Discord server and invite you to join, if you haven't already, where you can keep up with all the news across our community and find the YouTube streaming and saved video links. Okay, so now we're going to move on to world building. As mentioned over the past few weeks, developers are working on more improvements for the mixed reality extension in AltSpace VR and world building in general. And we are waiting for the release of the new features that have been teased. We aren't sure what's coming or when it's coming, and we simply are getting tired of waiting. If you are interested in world building, take advantage of the many opportunities available to work collaboratively with others on learning skills you need to build in AltSpace VR.
Yes, indeed. There are world building channels in the official Discord for AltSpace. We have regular world building events with Andy Fidel of Get Social and other community helpers, including Daisy Shaw, throughout the week. There are community-made videos on YouTube to help you through many of the steps with a world editor in Unity. And don't forget all those great support docs that are sitting there waiting for you at help.altvr.com.
Now, you have the opportunity to attend SDK/MRE meetups weekly to learn about what is going on with world building and how to improve your programming skills to add interactivity, motion, and special effects to your world building. Now, are you looking for some inspiration? There is plenty for you to take advantage of. First of all, take advantage of the World Tour showcasing the vast variety of worlds in AltSpace VR. The imagination is crazy cool in here. So experienced world builders often accompany the tours to answer your questions. Andy Fidel, Daisy Shaw, and the World Tour Showcase offer inspiring tours to help motivate you about building your own dreams into virtual reality.
Indeed. And on Wednesdays, the World Tour Showcase goes a step beyond. In addition to touring worlds on Wednesday, the team offers a tutorial once a month and a crowdsourced theme tour the last Wednesday of the month to inspire you to build and submit your world to be included. The theme last month was water. That was fun. This month, it's fire. Ooh, we get to see what you can do with some fire. Be imaginative. It should be really fun. This Wednesday, they're doing they're going to do part 2 of exploring the games and sport themed worlds. Last week was so much fun. That was amazing to go through the sport worlds and game worlds here, see how many thousand ways that people can actually play with the basketball kit and do something different with it every single time. Love that. Next week, the tutorial week, and they'll be working on your favorite thing for world builders. Come on. Positioning, rotating, and scaling objects. Yeah, so if you have any suggestions, join their Discord at discord.me/world tours or let us know on the News and Updates Discord.
Now this week we decided to dive deeply into the World Catalog to showcase some treasures created over the past almost 3 years of building with the World Editor and Unity. Now, some of you may remember this one. Homer is a favorite world builder in AltSpace VR, and 2 of his worlds need to be on your must visit. You need to favorite these so you can turn to them. What's wrong with Homer's brain? Do you guys remember this? It features a giant robot, crazy pipes to climb and fall down, an amazing dragon high in the sky made from rocks, and ginormous hand reaching down from the sky. They were experiments, but it is also an amazing adventure.
It is, and he continued that magic of doing what we call hand sculpting to create Homer's Nightmare, a visit to the memorable old horror movies with the mummy. There are snakes. There's King Kong being attacked by a helicopter with rockets, all built using this hand sculpting technique by using geometrics, rocks, or other kit assets to literally sculpt them put them together in a new way and form. If you want to see the possible things that you can do with a world editor with just some rocks and geometrics, visit Homer's Nightmare and What's Wrong with Homer's Brain. You'll be just amazed.
Well, that's incredible. Sorry, guys, in my real world, I live right by a fire station, and apparently there's something going on in the community. Sorry.
All right. That's okay.
On our own ancient, I won't say, created a functional Stargate from the movie and television series, allowing us to teleport from world to world through this ingenious device. This started a series of worlds interconnected through the Stargate, allowing us to go boldly beyond our galaxy. Now, our own world-building genius, Mark, was one of the first to jump on board with this Chuckaluck world, the home planet of
Chulak.
Chulak. See, I even asked about this one. Stop giving me words like this.
Sorry, Chulak.
Chulak. Chuckaluck sounds okay. Yeah. Okay. Chulak, the home planet of TLC. I guess you know that I'm
Tilk.
maybe not. My goodness.
No, Tilk.
What?
Sorry.
And the warrior
Tilk.
member of SGC. That doesn't even phonetically Okay, you guys, there's a drum roll because I got another one coming. Okay.
Oh, you can do this. You can do this.
He then added Abydos to the collection.
Yay! She got it right.
And there are more Stargate worlds to discover as you explore here in Outspace VR. And for those of you who don't know Stargate, you didn't even know I made a mistake.
I love it. I love it, Donna. That's brilliant. Chulak and Abydos and Tilk. Yeah, sorry. I just take this. They're part of my vocabulary, so it never occurred to me that you would recognize them. Okay, we got to so indoctrinate you and Karen Six. Seriously, we're going to sit down and indoctrinate both of you two into our world.
Ooh,
Anthony,
I'm going to start checking on this color code. That's what I'm going to start doing.
So, Anthony, to move on to more cool, some very, very interesting little.
Oh, yeah, you get the romantic stuff. Yeah.
I get the romantic one. Anthony Madden's Romantic Getaway is a wonderful hangout and social world with a resort built over water, resembling the vacation resorts of the Maldives. Now, this is an amazing escape from the real world. So go hang out there and just relax and forget about what's going on.
Now, Aziz, do you guys know that he built a space court? It was one of the early Unity designed worlds with plenty of interactivity, particle effects, and just plain fun playing basketball in outer space. What a great time we have hanging out there. Now, we decided to add this. It's so much fun. We decided to add this to our 101 world hopping exercise after we do the presentation at 101. So I love this part. So we have so much fun there.
Oh, indeed. Now, we love sharing new worlds we've discovered with you, and we love it more when you share your worlds with us. So we have a channel called Share Your World in News, just waiting for you to show off your world so we may feature it here. It doesn't matter if it was made 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or just yesterday, as long as it's sort of finished and open for public access. We'd love to feature it here.
And just remember, if there's at least one person in a world, it'll show up on Popular. So if you're new, make sure you check out Popular a lot. There's people that visit these worlds. When you go in there, make sure favorite them. So you can take your friends back to some of these treasures of worlds, because they really are. Now we get to move on to events. There's no names in here, I think, that I can't pronounce in the event section. Now, we're hearing from many event hosts and organizers that they are considering canceling events this week and next as they watch the news and consider the seriousness of their events in comparison. As longtime event hosts, may we offer a little advice before we turn to the news? And if I can just say one thing, Laurel, if that's okay. It is very disconcerting to be life as usual, except that it's having the opportunity to get together with people is part of this whole experience. So canceling an event loses us the opportunity to get together. So I'll pass it on to you, Laurel.
Well, if I could stay in one place, that would be good.
Oh, Laurel,
okay.
You're taking a tour now? Can you wait
I
till
did
after
do a
the
tour.
show?
I know. So as Donna just said so beautifully, please don't cancel your events. Please either keep them to provide continuity, familiarity, and a break from the madness outside, or change them. Invite your audience to share their feelings, concerns, to discuss the impact of all of this on our lives. We have so much to share, and now's the time to share and listen, just as Donna just said. So please keep the discussion alive. Now, we return to our regular scheduled announcements of events in Altspace VR, and there's plenty to report on, including Donna.
Now, today is, if it's news and updates, it's Saturday. And if it's Saturday, it is Reggie Watts Day. And there's only a few left. He continues with his explorations into reinterpreted reality. This week, the vocal artist, beatboxer, I love beatboxing, a musician and comedian broke down on the James Corbin late night show about the death of George Floyd and the protests. It's a powerful moment. So this is your opportunity to give some love back and show him the power of support and change in our community. There are over 200 people RSVP'd for this event and more expected to join as it gets closer to start time in a couple of hours. His VR performances that he has been doing especially for the community in Altspace VR is in this time of need. We really need it. So it will continue through June 20th, live right here, not pre-recorded or live streamed, but it's exclusively here in Altspace VR for you.
Yes, indeed. And if you happen to feel like partying a little bit, you can party out tonight and have it's a great way to meet new people and to step out of the craziness for just a little while. So join the Saturday night after party with Evolve VR and the happy hour hangout with Alan Chow and all our friends.
Now, Late Night with Buddy happens later tonight, features highlights of the week, a discussion of the week's events as Buddy brings fascinating topics and guests to his very own Altspace VR stage.
Yes, indeed. Now, Educators in VR is hosting 2 volunteer meetups tomorrow. It is an opportunity to become more involved and learn new skills in and around event hosting and teaching in VR. It's also a great way to connect and collaborate with other educators, learners, researchers, and just passionate fans. So join the Educators in VR production team to learn more about how you can support the Educators in VR events and other productions throughout the summer and the fall and beyond. So come join us tomorrow.
You guys, volunteering is such a fabulous way of getting to know people. So even if you're shy and have a hard time connecting with people, working alongside someone is a great opportunity to get past that and learn to connect with people, get that experience connecting with people here in VR. Now, if you haven't noticed, you should. To support everyone during these tough times of self-isolation, fear, and protests, Evolve VR has been stepping it up with dozens of events throughout the month. There are general meditation events to ponder a specific subject, the beautiful continued discussions on life and death, recovery, dharma, book club, dances and parties, and so many events. We literally can't keep up. Thank you to Evolve VR for continuing to remind us to take a moment to not only appreciate what we have, but where we are in the world and to make a difference.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and let's not forget the incredible work that our own Donna McTee does with the Live Love discussions and the Bible studies throughout the week. These topics are exceptionally relevant to today. They are excellent opportunities to come together, to share your thoughts and feelings from a Christian perspective. Thank you, Donna, for hosting these.
Thanks, Laurel. And that getting back to the not canceling events, you guys, every one of our discussion ends with something that's happening like last night or tonight or during the day or the protests or the virus or whatever. And people are literally yearning for the opportunity to talk about it. So that just ties back to not canceling events because it gives people those spaces to be able to do that. Now, Center Stage is tomorrow, another great opportunity, in addition to open mic and other open mic style events, to show off your talents as a singer, comedian, storyteller. There is so many talented people in AltSpace. It's incredible. So all are welcome. Though this event, Center Stage, this event tends to lean toward mature audiences, the talent in AltSpace VR is literally breathtaking to behold, and hopefully our wonderful Serenity will sing for us again tomorrow along with the amazing Lisa and so many other talented singers and entertainers. You guys, we are so blessed in this community.
The talent just is all over the place. I love it. I love it. And the UK Meetup is tomorrow with Daisy Shaw, a great opportunity to connect with fellow UK residents and fans. Now, as I was writing the script up and everything, putting this together with Mark and Donna, it flashed up on my screen that protests were happening in London, and they got a little out of control, leading to the protesters at the Black Lives Matter rally to vandalize the Winston Churchill Memorial. So our thoughts go out to all in support of peaceful demonstrations. But either way, meet us here in AltSpace with Daisy Shaw tomorrow and her team to hang out, socialize, share your thoughts, or just party hardy. This event defines the magic of AltSpace VR. It's the opportunity to socialize across borders, but also within, in a safe place. So thanks, Daisy, for your tremendous work in that area.
Absolutely. Now, as we report on all the real-world events going virtual and staging them in AltSpace VR, don't forget to check out the Burning Man Worlds, as the team from Burning Man has made AltSpace VR its home base. Did you guys catch that? We've said this a couple of times, but seriously, Burning Man is such a unique experience, and they've come to AltSpace for their home base this year. It features about a dozen worlds interconnected and some innovative uses of Unity and the MRE, and it is so worth a visit while they are finishing development on it. The main world is open, and you will often see it on the popular worlds list. They are planning on keeping it open for the next year or more. So you guys, let's make sure to get in there.
And also, they just contacted me today and said, if you have any artwork or anything that you would want to share, some Unity artwork or whatever it is, to add to their art collection, please visit the world and contact them, because they are opening up all kinds of worlds with galleries and things. It's very, very generous of them. Now, Mark Sparvell of Microsoft Education just announced a new EDU XR Talk, hopefully a series of discussions on education in XR starting on Tuesday. The first topic will be socio-emotional learning. I'll get that. I know. It's my turn. It's my turn. I'm used to socioeconomics and I can't get past socio-emotional. That is hard.
Oh, exactly. Okay, Nicholas Barone, Introduction to Unity class is also on Tuesday, part of the ongoing work with computer science in VR to bring computer and programming classes to VR. If you haven't taken one of his classes yet, you are really missing out. They are fun, innovative, interactive, and an amazing opportunity to expand your computer skills as well as your world building skills.
Yeah, and Mingle and Chill. Y'all remember Mingle and Chill, right? Does anybody know about Mingle and Chill? It is one of the longest running events in AltSpace VR. And it is an opportunity for the staff to meet and greet the community, answer questions about AltSpace and what's coming up, and to share stories about your adventures in VR. Check that out on Wednesday.
Now, Get Social is one of the most active groups here in AltSpace VR and around the metaverse. Andy Fidel, or as we just know her, Andy. Her sessions explore the imagination and potential of VR. It brings people together for fascinating discussions. Check out the Life 3.0 Being Human chat and Mingle this week, and the many other events that are happening on with Get Social.
Yeah. And the continuing weekly Rotary meetups they're bringing some incredible speakers to AltSpace. This week, research scientists David Bowe, Eric Rumbokas, and the team from Rumbo Labs will talk about, this is incredible, how they are using VR for people with traumatic injuries and prosthetics with special treatments and therapies. This should be a fascinating discussion on how the engineers and neuroscientists are working on the inner workings of the brain to provide healing and therapy for those that are seriously injured. I'm looking so forward to that.
Wow, interesting. On Friday, the VR Film Fest will be hosting the world premiere of The Ascent with IndieWire's editor-in-chief critic Eric Cohn and writer and director Tom Payton and cinematographer George Burt. What an amazing opportunity.
Yeah,
looking forward to that
premiere.
one.
Yeah, that's going to be great. There are so many and too many things to do here in AltSpace and never a dull moment. Please check out the events calendar and make sure to mark an event as interested so you will receive an email prior to the event so that you don't miss a moment of fun. Now, on a serious and hopefully joyous note, 4 or 5 years ago now, I think it was, I met a teacher from Central America here in AltSpace who's teaching refugee students in the camps there. He discovered VR through an old Samsung Gear, and one of the old models, and saw the future of education. Then he said something that still burns in my heart today. He said, "I thought I was the only one." He was so delighted to find he was not the only teacher exploring VR. As I look across these past few weeks of togetherness and separation as people protest against inequality and injustice, we know we are not alone. We are not the only one with these feelings, these concerns, and this sense of urgency that something must change right now, right? We are in this together.
Now, AltSpace VR's community standards is a powerful statement to our community and to the world against intolerance of any kind. But we can always do better. So for our discussion, for our question before you today, this is it. How can we make change in the world outside for tolerance and acceptance from within AltSpace VR?
Whoa. So I am going to turn on I'm going to turn on the raise hand button. So if you'd like to be on our camera and have something to say about this, what can we do here in AltSpace? Please hit the raise hand button in the lower right corner. Karen, our friend.
Well, just to start with, when you reach out to somebody and you welcome them here in AltSpace or anywhere for that matter, that person then often reaches out to somebody else. It's like if you're driving a car and you let somebody go ahead of you and that makes them feel good, so then they pass that favor along. So that's just a really small way of affecting change.
I think that's beautiful. I love it. All right, so we greet others and they pass it on. Thank you, Karen. All right, Frank, you're up. Hey, Frank.
Hi there.
You comment?
Yep. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I just got through watching the movie The Best of Enemies, and I was really, really impressed as a therapist by the ability of the person in the movie to be able to mediate conversation. I mean, you're talking about the most extremes of both sides of the fence. And so I would really welcome somebody being able to be able to mediate such conversations that can be open and and really so that we can see clearly both sides of the issue.
Absolutely. And we did that last week with Dana Maria. You want to talk about that for a second?
Oh yeah, I guess we did. Yeah. Yeah, Dana Maria invited me to be part of that, which I was very honored. And and I was really impressed with people's ability to express themselves in a way that wasn't hateful. You know, they were stating opinions that were strong, but they were also able to be tolerant, which is the whole purpose of your question, and open to the other side of the fence, right?
Absolutely. And the event was the virtual coaching meetup that happens on Wednesdays with Dana Maria, who's Captain VR, and our special guests, and Frank was one last week. So thank you for being there and being a part of that conversation. That was beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yay. All right. Anyone else want to share about how they feel about all of this going on and how we can make the world a better place from within Altspace? Diamond.
I guess two things come to mind. One is holding people accountable in here.
Oh,
We don't
beautiful.
allow people to be bullies, and we don't allow rude behavior or mean-spirited people. Has been the greatest example, I think, especially that a lot of the young kids see and then carry forward in their own relationships with each other. And that comes from the alt space standards. And I think those standards are just critical to any society that you have when you say this, we are respectful here. And like with Dana Marie's discussion, I was a part of the Rotary, and I didn't know anything about Rotary, but it's a whole world based on service. It's a group based on service. And we had the discussion is how do you do service in an intolerant time? And yet we had many, many examples of people doing great service during this time, taking water to people and different ideas, sandwiches, and just being kind, opening a door for somebody. So there's a lot going on. I'm very proud of what we do in alt space.
Oh, thank you. Wow. It's amazing how the simplest things, I mean, listen, we're not talking about big things. Greet people, welcome them to Altspace, make them feel like it's a safe place, because truly it's a complicated thing to put on the headset, to fiddle with this and fiddle with that and try to get in here and navigate and all the little bits and things like that. But just a simple welcome, and then just little random acts of kindness. Donna, isn't that what you feel like makes the world go round?
Always, it's the small things that we do that get remembered way more than what we say, right? And also one of the things we talked about on Friday morning at Live Love was just having what we say and what we do match, right? And that's always, people are always watching that, and like Diamond said, with even kids as an example. But it's really important when people are around us that what they hear us say to one person is actually how we treat somebody else. At 101, we always talk about respect and how if we respect others, they'll respect us, right? But it's really critical. All space is just another coffee shop. I keep saying that. It's not that much different in the real world, right? We're all people behind avatars. And just like we find amazing things to do for people in the real world, there is so many opportunities we have to here. And one of the things, just checking up on people, Laurel, you mentioned that. And we, just like in our real world, all of a sudden we realize that there's somebody we haven't seen in Altspace for a while, right? You guys know that you can send a message. People can read messages on website, on the Altspace VR website. They don't always do that, but even just the gesture of sending a message to someone saying, I haven't seen you for a while. Like, are you okay? I have to say, when you get that message, what does that make you feel like? Well, every message you send makes people feel the same way. And we have lots of opportunities like that to take care of each other.
Indeed. All right, we have Callie. Hi, Callie. Welcome. You have something to add? Callie, you're on air. Okay. Guess Callie didn't have anything. If you do have something to add, please hit the raise hand button in the lower right corner. Mike. Hey, Mike.
Hey, can you hear us?
Yes.
Awesome. So I'm not entirely sure how we'd even be able to go about doing it in Altspace, but I always thought it was a nice local initiative that, you know, the rest of the world can always take a try. So I work at a hospital in the UK, and we're really big on equality and diversity and inclusion. And one of our recent initiatives we created was what was called the NHS Rainbow Badge. And this was coming out at a push of, you know, LGBT equality, but also recently, you know, equality on gender identity and fluidity. And whilst we're all trained as staff, you know, to be welcoming and accepting of anyone from any background, any race, any gender, we created this extra initiative that allowed people to know that there's always someone to talk to, there's always a friend, and wearing a rainbow badge was a pledge of that, to say to people, if you're going through something, talk to me. You know, I'll be a confidential listening ear. Almost, you know, a bit like the Samaritans around the world. And I think it'd be awesome, like, you know, much like you have the Altspace community frames and you have the Altspace staff ones, whether they could create something similar, be it rainbow, be it a special colour, so that if you could volunteer to be one of those listening ears, you know, newcomers, veterans alike, they could always identify someone that can always be, you know, a listener or a buddy. So if you're having a rough time, you can come to Altspace, you can go to a world, and you can just have a chat with somebody.
Well, that's beautiful, and that's part of the role of the Community Helper Program, is that that we are supposed to be part of that.
Oh,
so
that's
the green badge. That's the green badge. Yeah, Donna?
And you said a critical word, and that's listening. That's something else that came up in a conversation with us on Friday night about how it's really, really important to listen. And there's different kinds of listening. And I'm often guilty of this because we're busy, right? Even when we're stationary, we're busy. Our minds are going, and somebody will be saying something, and all of a sudden you realize that you're thinking about something you have to do, and you just solved a problem. You have to go test it, and all of a sudden you jerk back into reality, and you look at the person that you're with, and you think, and please tell me I'm not the only one. I think I'm probably not the only one that looks at that person and thinks inside, oh my gosh, I hope they don't ask me something about what they were just talking about, because I have no idea what they were just talking about, right? And that it's human nature to do that, but it's a challenge for us, especially during this time when people are pouring out emotions. And even when they're talking about something, they may actually want to talk about something else. They're just waiting for that opportunity, the little bit of nudge. And I think that really listening and just giving them a place to place that burden on, because we can take it, right? That's what we do for each other. That's part of friendship. It's part of being community members. And that's just something that we need so desperately now. And I really enjoy that about this community.
Excellent. All right, we have two more quick questions here. We have Daddy. You want to add to the conversation? Looking for someone called Daddy? Nope. Okay, Victor. You want to add? You'll be a last one. Make it good. Victor?
Pressure. No pressure.
Okay.
You guys, sorry if you're trying to say
Silence
something.
for
There's
Victor. Yeah.
audio issues sometimes, right? That maybe
Yeah.
if it's an audio issue, apologize for that.
Yes. But I want to thank everyone for letting their voices be heard and for letting us share this time with you. Absolutely. Because it takes one. Seriously. And to quote Barry Manilow, it takes one voice singing in the darkness.
I haven't heard that song for so long. I love that song.
It's one of my favorite
Laurel.
songs. I love it.
I'm gonna have to
so
go find
be
it,
the
yeah.
voice. Be the voice. Yeah, we should need to find it. So thank you all for everything that you contribute to make this a success for us. And that's all for this week's news and updates. So remember, the conversation does not stop here. Discord is our home base for our communication and our community outside of AltSpace VR. So come join our Discord. And keep up with the news, the updates from here and around, including news from the VR industry.
Now, we live stream the news onto YouTube every week, and you can catch up with past episodes to learn more about how AltSpace VR works and what's going on in the community. We've also added the AltSpace VR announcements feed to our news and updates Discord server, so you won't miss a minute of the news.
And if you would like to volunteer and help us out, we would love it. As Donna said, being of heart of service is one of the best things you can do around here. It's a great way to network and connect. We need help with filming and live streaming and all the news, and we need people to supply us pictures and news and events and activities from around AltSpace VR. So we need writers and editors and photographers and moderators and backups and all kinds of things. So come help us out and join our Discord. Take us out, Donna.
Did I miss
No,
a
just
cue?
take us out.
Also, we will hang around after the news to answer your questions and talk about what you are doing in AltSpace VR, so stick around as we'd love to chat with you. Thanks to all our news and update volunteers and moderators that help make this event such a success. Thank you so much. So with these uncertain times, please be safe wherever you are in the world.
Yay! Thanks, everyone. Woo! Thanks, Mark.